The following video is going to show you how to preserve, maintain, and present artwork. We work hard on our artwork throughout the year. We want to make sure we have our artwork to show off at a possible end of the year art show. So we have to make sure our artwork is in tip-top condition. That means no fading, no smudging, and it's not getting dirty while it's staying in the art room. Here are some ways in keeping our drawings and paintings looking good, or when using chalk and oil pastels. When a class is done with a project and you've been painting or drawing, you might want to grab all of those papers and flatten them so all of the edges are nice and smooth. You can create this flatness on the projects by getting a folder and putting your artwork in the folder and then ironing the top. If you don't have an iron, heavy books work just as good. You might have to use a couple books to get those edges, but the outcome will be the same. When working with oil pastels, they tend to get very smudgy and they can get on your hands if they're not preserved properly. It's important to use a sealant to get all that oil pastel stuck to the page. Depending on the age group that you're working with the oil pastel, the students can do this part just fine. All you're going to need is some Mod Podge and a paintbrush. And you're simply going to paint over the entire artwork using the Mod Podge, and it's going to create a barrier between you and the oil pastel. When you're done with the Mod Podge, let the glue dry completely. It will appear as if it has a shine to the top. When working with chalk pastel, it is super smudgy and it gets everywhere, including around your paper. So if it is not preserved properly, that chalk will get everywhere as time goes on. So it is very important that you preserve chalk pastel properly. We're going to be using simple hairspray to do this. You can buy super fancy fixatives as well, but hairspray is just a little bit cheaper. Using the hairspray, you're going to spray the entire paper. It might darken the chalk a little bit, but don't worry about that. When presenting artwork, you want to make sure the artwork has nice, clean edges. So you might have to trim some edges depending on the type of artwork you're using. Usually chalk pastel is pretty smudgy, so it's best to cut off those edges. Most artwork you want to mount, which means gluing onto another piece of paper. For this one, I'm going to get a white piece of paper, and using a glue stick, I'm simply going to glue this down onto the white piece of paper. Make sure you really focus on those edges so they don't stick up. When presenting artwork, it's really important that you label it. During an art show, students and parents want to find their artwork easily, so writing your name, the teacher's name, and the grade is great to have on a bottom hand corner. Some artwork doesn't need to be cut down and is ready to be mounted right onto a piece of paper. When mounting on black paper, it is important to have a white colored pencil to label your artwork. I hope these tips and tricks will help you when preserving, maintaining, and presenting artwork in the art room.